Hey everybody, what's up? Don Carr here, and I am fortunate, so fortunate to be sitting with the legendary MJ, the Queen of Tone. MJ, welcome.
Thank you, Sweetwater, for having us here. We're going to be here hand winding some pickups, also doing some interviews. I expect to have a great time here at Sweetwater with all these sweet people.
Yeah, indeed. And for those of you maybe who don't know who MJ is, we're going to bring you up to speed really fast. MJ winds pickups for Seymour Duncan, and that's about the understatement of the century, probably. She single-handedly winds amazing pickups for artists, and you've been doing this for quite a while now. So how many years have you worked for Seymour?
Almost 40 years.
Oh,
almost 40 years working, under the guidance of Seymour W. Duncan, the man,
Yeah.
So we had fun, we had joke, we had made great pickups, great inspirations, we're a great team. We work great together,
Yeah, that's great. Well, obviously, 40 years, that's a long time, right? So you work specifically in the custom shop, right?
Yeah.
And so that means that you're working directly with artists. And,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, we could sit here and drop names all day. Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, Billy Gibbons,
Eddie Van Halen, Peter Frampton.
Yeah, oh my gosh! Your
Jimmy
personal favorite, Peter Frampton,
my
right?
personal But you know what? I know he's my favorite, but right now, Joe Bonamassa is kind of also winning my heart,
Yeah, oh, that's
we
great.
work very closely with Joe Bonamassa, Brad Paisley.
Yeah.
Yes, you name it, and I believe, if not now, but with Seymour W. Duncan at one point worked with most of the major artists.
Right. Jimmy Page, another one.
Jimmy Page.
Yeah, you need to tell this story, but I've heard the story about how you started at Seymour Duncan, and I just think it's a great story. So I would love it if you'd tell that story.
Well, the story started after I'm one of 16 kids, number 5. My ex-company where I used to work before was going to move to North Carolina. And knowing that my whole family used to live in Santa Barbara, California, I didn't want to move. I said, I would rather leave my job and don't move. So since I was pregnant, we waited until I had my baby, and they stayed in Santa Barbara. One day, in the morning, I was making homemade flour tortillas, and my neighbor came over and asked me for a ride to Seymour. She didn't say Seymour Duncan.
Yeah.
Can you give me a ride to take this application? And I said, of course. So the application wasn't fully filled out. I helped her to fill it out, the application. I put myself as a reference. And then we go and we take it to Seymour Duncan. At that point, I didn't know that Seymour Duncan was a pickup company, because if I would have known, I would have said Chevy or Ford,
Right.
And that was honestly, in my house, we used to use music. One of my brothers used to get up and put Creedence. The other one, Chicago. The other one, and me, was always Peter Frampton,
Oh, yeah, right.
So I was in love with Peter Frampton. And to me, going to a place where they were going to make pickups, when 3 hours after, they offered me the job. And I'm going, I'm sorry, you just got the chauffeur. And he goes, I know that, but would you like to come and work for us? I'm going, I'm not looking for a job. I only been with non-work for 6 weeks. Oh, we know that. Would you like to work for us? And then they gave me a day to think about it. I called my mom. And my mom, not having kids at home, she used to borrow the neighbors. So when she heard that I was going to, start a job, and she was going to babysit, the joy was too much. I said, I need to go and give it a try to this job. I had no clue that I was going to be able to meet Peter Frampton there. Not until when I went the next morning and start my assignment, I was making pickups for Jimmy Page. I started making my pickups. I finished them. The bobbins were already pre-wound. I did not wind the bobbins. I only assembled the humbuckers. Because they were for Jimmy Page, I need to deliver them to Seymour. When I go over to Seymour, he had a bookshelf right behind him. And on the bookshelf, it was hanging the name tag of Peter Frampton. And I'm going, do you know him? And Seymour goes, yeah. No, really, do you know him? He goes, yeah. if everybody knows Seymour, Seymour is just like a little bonbon, soft and sweet, you know. So when he told me the third time he knew Peter Frampton, I'm going to stay on this job. I go back to the table that they had assigned me, and I start reading, writing down all the specs of the pickup. They said this thing is a humbucker. I put humbucker. Has two bobbins. One is with the small screws and one with the studs. One señora and one señorita. The four conductor wire, black and white, green and red. I said salt and pepper, salsa and guacamole. Okay? And in the salsa and guacamole, they're always the south side up. The salt and pepper always north up. And they get together, and I start writing down all the specs of the pickup because I wanted to keep my job, because I wanted to meet Peter Frampton, you know.
You were motivated.
I was motivated.
That's great.
And since March 13, 1982, up to Friday when I finish my work week, I write down my last specs that I did of the last pickups that I did. We have boxes and boxes and boxes of all the specs that I have done. I start doing the notes not knowing that Seymour W. Duncan, the man, he was also a big note person. On a napkin, on whatever he used to write or think about a pickup, he used to write all those little things. And when he noticed that I had potential because I had all my notes and I was reading that, that's when I got moved to his department to work under him because, all the notes that I was kind of doing.
Right.
And then whenever I was taking orders from an artist, we became almost like brother and sister, you know. Like I'm taking the order, someone is calling me and can you make me a Telecaster that sounds like this? And he's writing down the notes. I'm writing down the notes, okay? And then at the end, MJ, what do you got? No, you show me first. No, you got, and sometimes we're off for a couple of hundred turns, but why? Seymour, do you hear this and this? Yeah, but you also hear this and this? But yeah, we're going to use this magnet. Yeah, okay. So we needed to be to 100%, otherwise we question ourselves. This is how I got to learn everything that I know. Because the work with Seymour, besides taking notes, we were always kind of challenging ourselves. You know, most of the time we were to 100%, but when we were not, I would say, why? You know, what do you hear that I didn't hear? You know, and this is why the specs of the pickups, like I had a situation, not long ago, a few years ago, when the builder or Billy Gibbons calls me and tells me, MJ, we're going to create a new pickup for Billy, but don't tell anybody yet. Don't even tell Seymour yet. I said, why? Because it was, something based, but with a ceramic magnet. And I go, no, John. He doesn't use ceramic magnets. But MJ, he said, no, he doesn't use ceramic magnets. Because within the years and with everything that you learn from Seymour and with the importance that the magnet takes on the pickup, you get to know what the artist uses, you know. And 2 days after, John calls me back and says, Billy says, you're right. You know what he needs. So, we end up making the pickup. It's the Red Devil, if everybody knows now, and they sell it here at Sweetwater's. But it's just kind of, you get to know the people like the way I know Seymour. We talk, and we talk tone, we talk about the magnets. We have names for our magnets. We call them greeny, bluey, goldy, reddy. MJ, 42, bluey, you know, and no W, no, and I know what pickup to make.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, you can tell from the code, from the way you guys talk back and forth. That's
and
great.
this is how Seymour and I usually kind of communicate, the way we talk about it. And I know he would love to be here, but unfortunately he can't right now, but next time.
Yeah.
But this is how I learned so much about the pickups, because being under his guidance and kind of taking it like a game, you know. We were trying to deliver the best, but also not taking it like a mandate. Seymour Duncan has always been like, you know, a family-oriented company, and this is the way I feel with Seymour, the way we always kind of agree and disagree. even whatever I wanted to fill it for lunch, MJ, Seymour, you have to eat that. MJ, I don't want that. The doctor said you have to eat that. So you do it.
Yeah.
It's just like a family. At Seymour Duncan, we're a big, happy family.
Oh man, that's great. And it sounds like you treat your artists and the people you work with that way as well.
Oh, it's the same thing. Yeah. I mean, being one of 16, one friend comes inside from that door, and my mom, sit down, you have to eat. Another comes from the other door, sit down, you have to eat. It's the same thing. I go in there, and if you want to give Brad Paisley his tamales to take home, and then he goes, do I have to wait until I go home? I said, no, you don't have to wait. I have extras for you. I'll warm you up something up right now.
Wait a minute. So you're giving tamales to Brad Paisley?
Oh, and to Eddie Van Halen and to Steve Miller and to, it's just the culture. My culture and the culture at Seymour Duncan. I mean, you come, you're not just the musician that you're in the stage and I'm getting, no. You're my friend, you're my family. Come over, sit down and eat. I'm going to tell you guys a story. One day, I had a 12-pack of Coke, Diet Coke. Mm-hmm. Billy Gibbons wasn't drinking. Then, I have a small fridge, and suddenly, I noticed all my Cokes were gone. And I'm going, what happened to my Cokes? Then another co-worker from there says, the guy that you had in here, he kept on grabbing them and grabbing them and grabbing them. This is what we are. Yeah. We're just kind of, all a big happy family. The other day, Los Lobos were going to play in Santa Barbara, California. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, I get to mingle with them. Unfortunately to say it, they wrote a song for me. But the production people, the people working, not everybody gets to go to a lot of shows, because they have kids in school or sure. They're busy or no money or whatever. So I bring the Lobos to them. And I said, okay, Cesar, you guys are going to be in Santa Barbara 2 nights. The morning, and right away they said, yes. It's one thing that they're super cool. Yeah. And they came and they played for all the employees,
Oh, man, that's awesome.
We had some other musicians that go and do the same thing, Mm-hmm. It's kind of, they know how we value them. Mm-hmm. And they always tell me, MJ, whatever you want, kind of sending a note someone, like the story I was telling you of Dave Amaro.
Oh, yeah.
And telling him, have I told you lately that I love you? It's just a matter of comes from, I remember about him. I haven't talked to him in a while. Let me send him a little note, Right. And sometimes they receive it on the right moment. Mm-hmm. When they were missing home, they were missing California, they were on the road, they were here. And he says, MJ, you don't know what that meant to me, So you're not just a musician that I'm going to kind of go ahead and make your pickup go away and just
right.
say it's a Seymour Duncan. No, right. It gets way, way beyond that. You know?
Clearly. And and to kind of even bring it back around a little bit, that's part of the craft too. You know what it takes, from a material standpoint, and you also know from a craft standpoint what it takes to make a pickup and even make it sound a certain way. But more importantly, you know how to make it sound right for someone based on what they want. And getting to know them is a big part of that.
Well, yeah. If you get to them, you get to know them, you mm-hmm. get to know what they played. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you do have to ask, especially if it's for a new record,
Right.
They're seeking for a particular new tone, Mm-hmm. What kind of guitar is it? What's the weight of the guitar? What lacquers is the guitar? What finishes, Mm-hmm. What size of the strings? What size of tone and volume pads are you going to put on that? And then you make the pickup based in all those configurations,
Right, because on that end, you've got the technical side of it, but on the other end, you've got, this is what I want to hear out of this pickup in this guitar for this situation, and you have to know how to interpret all that, man. That's awesome. That's quite a skill set. You're amazing.
You get that. Obviously, I wasn't born with that. I meant to be, or God meant to put me on this job, mm-hmm. but I give the honors. Like I said, I learned all that from Seymour W. Duncan. Mm-hmm. Being or working under him, and like I said, and taking our job to a next level, kind of playing and saying, mm-hmm. what's your specs? No, show me yours first. Mm-hmm. We were just like kids, but trying to make the work, make it joyful and happy, yeah. And because if we deliver pickups, obviously we want to kind of make sure that we're putting our heart and soul in whatever we do.
Right.
Otherwise, I would say, don't make them. if you're forced to make something, like I tell my kids, if you're forced to do something, don't do it. It has to come up from your heart.
Yeah.
I was telling you a little earlier, I could be sick, but put me to work on something that is music-related work, and I get well right away, because it's on my heart.
Yeah.
It's been, I don't know what Seymour put on my veins on me that, that working around music, it's just in my heart,
Yeah, that's amazing. That really is. That's so great to hear. It's so great to know that level of care and concern and understanding and expertise and all that stuff goes into custom shop pickups from Seymour Duncan. That's just astounding. Because we all know, everybody knows Seymour as the legend, right? But you clearly are as well. You've been right there the entire time, 40 years nearly. That's a long, wow, that's amazing.
And being proud every single moment of it, it's just,
Indeed. Okay, so more importantly, I need to make a trip to Santa Barbara because I really need some tamales.
Hey, talking about Santa Barbara, look what I brought you from Santa Barbara.
Whoa, what the heck? That's some bling. Man, that's great. I love that.
It's a homemade necklace,
This is my pickup, right?
That's your pickup, yeah.
Awesome. Why, thank you. Thank you very much. I will wear it with pride indeed. You have a winding machine here and you're going to show the actual winding process.
Correct.
Thank you for doing this. I cannot believe that we're going to get to watch you wind a pickup. This is
we're going to start winding here a vintage strut. That's what I've been doing all day here at Sweetwater. You can see some of the pickups that we're doing. This machine is the one that Seymour usually takes on the road whenever he travels as well. And we do the vintage pickups the vintage way. Nice and tight. And now that's just to check that I'm going even, from side to side. And the reason why I stop once in a while, I need to see how the coil seat, how it's nice and round.
Right.
So I need to make sure that it's, still going that way. And this is done. This is a coil.
No, this is something. We can, yeah. I gotta ask.
Probably I'm used to kind of doing the hand winding and I love it. It's different than doing it on the machines because in here, you connect with the wire. Your DNA is going through the wire. It's just kind of a different experience. It's kind of another level.
I noticed that your hand even would move a little bit depending on the speed.
Okay, yeah. You give the tension to the windings with your hand. It all depends how much you're pressing, how much tension you're giving to the wire. That all depends a lot on the reading of the pickups, not only on the reading on the tone of the pickups, because the more tension that you pull, the more you pull the wire, the tighter it is. It's a tighter tone. The more lucid that I will leave it, it's just, unbalanced, so.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because that tight, even, consistent wind is going to have a different sound than a loose wind that's
correct.
Got a little space in.
You got it, dude.
Well, but watching your hand manipulate that was really cool. That told me a lot.
Yeah, as you can see, the size of the wire is even probably thinner than your hair.
Right.
And if I'm not super careful with it, the way it might snag on the machine or my fingers, so I really have to kind of pay attention and see. And when I stop the machine once in a while, I want to make sure that I'm doing even, wall to wall.
Yeah, pattern. Yeah, just a straight, even
yes.
pattern across. Yeah, I totally get that. And are you squeezing, pulling, a little of both, maybe?
Yes.
But a little of both?
Well, that's what exactly I said. The tension is in my hands.
Right.
I mean,
but it's here.
when it's a winding machine, a regular winding machine, we have the tensions up there or down here, wherever we press it. When it's in here, all the tension is on my fingers, and I'm the one controlling how I want the wire to go. If I want it a little loose or I want it tighter.
Every guitar player came to Seymour at some point going, hey, I need some pickups,
Yes.
So man, I'm thinking about those boxes of specs and notes that you have written down. That's got to be an amazing archive. It
is an amazing archive. And I mean, not lately, I was talking to my marketing department. I said, we need to do a little video getting some of those pickups, some of the specs going back through the years. And not only some specs, I also have boxes and boxes of pro type pickups that I have done, through the years, because sometimes I do save them because I know, to me, saving the notes is what happened, and it has happened. I make a pickup for you 15 years ago. Then you get mad with your wife, and this had happened. Then the guitar ends up in pieces,
Right.
I mean,
in the dumpster somewhere.
Yeah. So then when you call me, you ask me to go ahead and duplicate the pickups, to go ahead and duplicate those things. I mean, I had to go to my archive and then get the notes and go ahead and duplicate the pickups. So to me, it is very important for all of you musicians to be able to duplicate a pickup that you had ordered, or you want to sound like so and so, I mean, we can easily do that as well.
And you have a starting point at least, if not just a really easy carbon copy, like, oh, okay, well, yeah, here are the notes right here. This is exactly it. So I'll just make you one of these. Yeah, that's, again, an amazing archive. That'd be something to sort through.
I mean, in there you can find notes from Seymour did even before I started there, for Roy Buchanan, Danny Gatton, Jaco Pastorius being one of them. Some of the old ones that he did back in England when he was there. So there is a lot of history in Seymour Duncan. I believe we might be one of the only pickup company that we create so much history, because I have specs from old Reaper basses, the old Staples, the old Dynasonics, the old, making so many rewinds through the years. You can archive all those notes that you take, and start recreating all those old pickups,
Yeah, right. Well, and that's another thing too. I know that's definitely a big deal, is making an exact replica of a certain pickup, from a certain era, to either retrofit a guitar or to go in an old guitar that maybe just needs a pickup. And so having all that experience is amazing.
Just like we did for Eddie Van Halen when he brought the Frankenstein, and we needed to duplicate the pickups in that guitar, or Joe Bonamassa, we had done it, lately, and quite a few, or creating a new one like we're doing it for Brad Paisley,
Yeah, I've actually gotten quite a few custom shop pickups over the years, and it sounds like you have probably been involved in every one of them, I would imagine. The last set I got was. Let me see, it was like a replica of the Burns Trisonics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got those a few years ago, and they're Strat sized.
I just did a set in gold.
Oh, really?
On Friday, yeah.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Yeah, those pickups sound amazing, and in that guitar I actually had the Brian May switching, the 6 switches put in it, so you can get all those types of tones. I mean, it's a different guitar, but you can approximate those tones. Wow, MJ, thank you so much. Seriously, thank you so much. This is really amazing. Really, really appreciate your time, and I hope you have an amazing time here at Sweetwater.
Oh, of course. I expect that, and thank you to all of you guys for all the love that we get back, because not only giving love, is receiving the love back what keeps us on going. Can you imagine if I was a bitter old lady because I'm just giving, and I'm talking about giving love and not getting love in return? I mean, love goes both ways.
Oh, it's reciprocal.
This is the way I receive it from all of you guys. I mean, I love what I do because I feel the love. You know, I mean, everything that I do, I always put my heart and soul into it. So
Oh, good for you. That's the only way to be, right?
that's the only way
That's
to be.
the only
yes.
way to be. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about Seymour Duncan pickups, make sure to contact your Sweetwater sales engineer or check us out online at sweetwater.com. Thanks.
Thank you.